We interrupt this podcast to bring you breaking news from the Watermelon Boys. Patrick recorded the majority of this episode through his computer audio instead of his microphone. Towards the end of the podcast, this was realized and the microphone was connected. We apologize for the poor quality. Thank you. You are now listening to the Flaming Melon Podcast, featuring your hosts, the Watermelon Boys, Lucas Beaudois and Patrick Riley. Fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride. And make sure to look both ways at the stop sign because the Watermelon Boys and affiliate networks will not be held liable for any accidents caused by this pod. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to the Flaming Melon Podcast. This is episode 8. We bring you wonderful words and sentences today. I'm here with my co-host Patrick. Hello.
Isn't it a pleasure? Isn't it such a big pleasure to be able to speak the words
And sentences.
and the sentences? Let's talk about a couple sentences right now.
Okay, which ones you want to talk about?
What about the one that you just said right there?
Okay, what ones do you want to talk about? That one?
What about the one that you just said right there?
What about the ones you want to talk about?
Yeah, that one.
That's a nice sentence. And we're going to bring you even better sentences during this episode. Patrick, how the fuck are you?
Well, I don't know if that seemed like a little bit of a false promise. We can't promise that we can't promise that you're gonna enjoy any of this.
That's true. I rescind my comment. You might hate all of this and not listen to it. And that's all right.
I'm great, Lucas. I'm a little sick of the kids on TikTok with the talk boxes.
The what?
The talk box.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, well, I'm trying to think of a song that would, well, it's like the original auto-tune. It's this tube. Have you ever seen somebody, like, sing with a tube in their mouth and they sound like a robot?
Yes, I have.
That's a talk box.
Okay.
And recently somebody on TikTok that I follow, who thinks that they're a great singer but cannot sing, they started to pick up the talk box. So just imagine a robot that is out of tune all the time, and it's getting stuck in my head, and all of the dumb TikTok songs are stuck in my head.
That sounds awful.
One of the new ones is by the yodeling Walmart kid. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, really?
Mason Ramsey.
That's hilarious.
He just dropped a song that is going kind of viral on there. And so today I think I'm going to make a video about how he is an android invented by Elon Musk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
I'm fine. I've actually had some songs stuck in my head too, but they're not from TikTok. I've recently had a bunch of the tunes from old Mario games stuck in my head. And not because I'm playing them, which is normally what would be the case, but I have been watching a lot of YouTube videos on people speed running, like Super Mario 64 and the old Mario games.
You found that rabbit hole of the internet.
Yeah, I have. And it's quite fascinating to watch some of those speed runs and how they're able to navigate a game that is designed to be beaten a certain way, and they beat it in 15 minutes.
Is that really how long?
Hardly any of the parameters. Yeah, like Super Mario 64, there's a lot of different ways to beat that game. Like the developers intended for you to get to at least 70 of the 120 stars to beat it. And then guys found out how to get to 50, and then how to get to 31, and then down to 16, and then down to 1 star, and be able to beat the whole game, and then eventually 0 stars, and you can beat the whole game.
Now, is it more so just the knowledge of what to do, or is part of it actual skill in playing the game too, and the mechanics of the game?
Oh, a lot of it is incredible skill in very weird situations. Like it's skill to make these glitches happen that are just so hard to do.
Okay, so a lot of it's glitches that were not intended to be used in the
Right.
game.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
But people have just played it so long that they've found these shortcuts.
Yes. I think the most popular and most competitive is the 16-star version of beating the game, and I watched a whole hour long episode on people beating that, and that's down to like under 15 minutes, which that game is crazy long, and I love that game, which is insane. But
So
yeah,
you've got a lot of the N64 music in your head
I got
for
a
the
lot of
Mario game.
N64 music in my head. But I also attended another show at Marvin's. Um,
Marvin's.
Marvin's Marvin's Magic. So thank you again to Jeff for having me.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. And I got to see, well, John Carney was there again doing close up. He did all close up stuff that I have not seen before. And then Sean Paul and Juliana Fay were the stage act, which they're a duo that do primarily mentalism. And some of the stuff in that show was pretty otherworldly. Um, I told you about it last night, but they did it. I won't get into details because it'll kind of expose it, but they did a trick that you can also see in Nightmare Alley that is incredibly difficult to do. And they did it so well, and it felt so impossible. Um, yeah,
How'd they
so that
start off the
was
show?
they they started off the show with um, some musical linking rings, which is not always my favorite way to open a show, but that's what we got.
I mean, when I think
And
of a mentalism act, I think of somebody linking together a bunch of rings to music.
well, you know, they're going for that old timey stage show feel, which means a lot of mentalism and some classics in magic. So that's, you know, they did the linking rings, which I don't know. I'm kind of sick of the linking rings, to be honest. But the rest of the show was fucking great. So
Maybe just to set the bar kind of low at the beginning. Set
maybe
the rings low.
set the rings
Lower
low
the
and
yeah.
then pounce.
Maybe it's because we have the 2022 Winter Olympics coming up. Did they do like the Olympic symbol? Was that one of the things?
They did not. They
Oh,
did not. I think it was only 3 rings.
well, maybe they
But
were maybe they ran out of. They wanted
may-
to do it, but
maybe they lost 2 of them.
they did
Um,
they did the like over half of it.
yeah, that's good enough. But there was a lot of audience interaction too. Probably the most that I've seen in any show at Marvin's, which is
And
cool
was it
too.
audience interaction from the seats or was it on the stage?
A little bit of both. Yep. Yep. There was an electric touch routine where someone came up. They did a routine where they um, attempted to turn someone in the audience into a psychic, but it just became this comedy bit, and they framed it like a game show and had like game show music going on, and the audience member didn't actually do any mind reading, but it was really funny. Um, yeah, it was a good show. I had a good time, as always.
I don't know if I've ever seen a duo mentalism act live.
Yeah, yeah, I would say a majority of it was Sean doing his own bits, but Juliana did a couple things. Mainly the thing that I already told you about off the pod was
Hmm.
her big thing. She also did during that segment a pretty crazy levitation off of a stool that I don't recall seeing anywhere. That was really quite crazy. Uh,
So there was a levitation in there as well.
yes, yes. That was during a mentalism bit. She just was standing there with a whiteboard writing a name down and started to levitate.
Oh, so it was just like a little bonus effect. A
Mm-hmm.
big thing, like something that you'd normally see on its own, but combined with.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun show. But I think that's the only magic thing that I had during this
Well,
last
thanks.
week.
Thanks, Jeff. As always.
Thank you, Jeff. You're a kind man. Thanks for letting me come to all these shows. I know I'll be going back again soon. Yeah, and I got another Palm Springs Magicians meeting coming up this Tuesday. So, have a little more magic for you next week as well.
Lucas and I are also working on getting a special guest into the podcast.
We are, yep. We've already had Peter on the show, which was great, and you'll see him many more times throughout this podcast. But we're going to branch out a little bit and get some crazy people on here.
Yeah,
So,
one of them is named Darren.
yeah, and you might be thinking of the guy who we've already done an episode on, and that's all I'm going to say. You're either going to be pleasantly surprised that we were able to get Darren Brown, or you're going to be like, what the fuck? So look forward to that.
But we are in the process of trying to organize some future interviews that'll be a treat for you guys. But until then, you're just kind of stuck with us and deal with it, I guess.
So,
Stop being a baby.
Buckle up. You got us. Too bad. Too bad. Put your headphones
buckle
in
up, baby.
and listen to us. Speaking of people listening to us, shout out to our newest country, Ireland. Welcome to the party.
Ireland. Wow.
Welcome. Happy to have you.
I am a fair amount Irish. I've got a lot of Irish in my blood due to the transfusions when I got into an accident in Ireland. But
and I've actually been in Ireland. I know you just said you got an accident in Ireland, but on a real note, I've been to Ireland before.
Yes, Lucas has been to Ireland. I have not been to Ireland, but I'm more Irish than he will ever be because I am.
That is true.
Because I am actually Irish. But
yes.
Enough about that. Lucas, how was Ireland when you went there?
So. Ireland, I had a long-ish layover in Ireland on my way to Scotland. So does it really count? I don't know. A couple hours, like 3-4 hours.
I had this long layover in Ireland. All right, I'm thinking like maybe a couple days.
No. Yeah, we flew into Ireland and out of Ireland from Chicago when we did our Scotland trip. I went on a Scotland golf trip my senior year of school. So have I really been to Ireland? It's debatable. Probably not. I've been in one of their big airports.
Did you have any big takeaways from that experience in Ireland? Any takeaways at all?
Specifically in Ireland? Yeah, I did have some takeaways. It looked beautiful. The airport was beautiful, and I could see some nice mountainsides outside. And I really do want to go to Ireland and actually explore Ireland, not only for the fantastic golf over there as well, but it just seems like a beautiful place, and the people in the airport were great. Maybe I inadvertently met the guy who's now listening to us. Who knows?
Maybe you've been stalking Lucas for a long time. Finally found out he has a podcast.
Yeah. Do you remember that guy in the cafe sitting down with a deck of cards? Because you're listening to him now. That's me. Hello.
Yeah, of course we can't forget Germany, but we are kind of switching our focus to Ireland right now.
Yeah, well, we'll never forget our first, but Ireland is just, it's new and upcoming, and we're very excited about it.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about Ireland until recently. I didn't even know that they're really kind of on the up. They're on the up and up. They're really breaking through the scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, if you're from Ireland and, none of the Germans claim their free gift. So if you want to send us an email, maybe we can,
Yeah, we'll double check the email one more time. I got it pulled up.
Maybe we sent the wrong email.
I'm
trying to get a hold of.
I'm checking the actual email. Nope, still no emails from any listeners. That's okay. You guys can email anytime. It's flamingmelonpod podcast@gmail.com. So send us a question, send us your address, send us whatever you want. If you send us a question, we'll answer it on air. If you send us your address, we will send you a free gift. So
We will
there
send
you
you
go.
a question
We'll send you a question. Yep.
via the mail. And then you have to answer it via a video, and then we'll feature it on the podcast.
Exactly. Yes, or you come on the pod and answer it at the end of the pod.
Yeah, shout out to the mail. Shout out to the mail workers out there keeping the mail system going.
Yeah, hell yeah.
USPS, FedEx, UPS,
All of it. You guys are great.
Royal Mail. But there's probably maybe 2 or 3 more. But thank you for well, you're not our sponsor, so I guess I'm not gonna get into that. Lucas, if you had to be one animal, what would it be?
I mean, probably something that could fly,
You have
but
5 seconds.
but also mysterious and owl.
But also mysterious and owl. Okay. Owl is good. You have how far can they turn their head? Like 300 degrees?
Yeah, pretty creepy. They could do the head twisting illusion for real. It's awesome.
And why you like the ambiance that the owl kind of comes with a meaning behind it almost.
Yeah, well, you only see them at night. You know, they're rare to see to begin with. They're a cool bird.
I think when I was in elementary school, we found an owl inside of our fireplace, alive, a baby
Really?
owl. Yeah, and then we kind of nursed it for just a second, and then we got it into the nature center in Kalamazoo, and then that owl's probably still kicking it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, kind of insignificant, just kind of popped into my mind.
That's
But,
cool though.
yeah.
I think the last time I saw an owl was when I worked in San Francisco, and I was driving with my best friend out there. His name's also Patrick. Patrick O'Brien, another Irish Patrick.
Yes, classic.
But he's a great guy. We should have him on the pod. But him and I were driving somewhere just through, I think, Pacifica, which is outside of San Francisco a little ways. And there was this big old owl up on a light post, and we just stopped the car because there was no one else driving around us. And we just stopped the car and got out and stared at this owl for a while.
Was it like an adult?
Yeah, it was a big owl. Which also reminds me of the time that I was at his house. He lived in Pacifica while I was out there, and he had a deer come up into his backyard, and he just opened the back door, and it like walked up basically right inside of his house. Like, it didn't come all the way in, but it just like stood in the doorway, and he like handed it some salami or something, and it was just
Really?
eating out of his hand. And I was like, what the fuck? I just, from in Michigan, you never see that because everyone just fucking kills them.
Right. They're
I
scared
guess
of,
out there they walk
scared
up
of
to you.
people.
Right.
But when I was in North Dakota this past summer, I was in a town called Medora, and there was there's just a bunch of wildlife. It's right. There's a national park right there. But there was, when the weather was nice, you just see tons of deer just roaming around, like in front of houses, just chilling, just doing their own thing, not afraid of people. And it's cool to see. But when it was just weird because you're like in the middle of nature, but you're also in a somewhat developed town as well. So it was just
Right.
kind of weird. But yeah, definitely when it comes to being in Michigan, where deer, you almost see them more you almost see them more killed on the side of the road than you do running around.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how Bandon Dunes is too. I used to work at Bandon Dunes in Oregon, and there's deer all over the golf course, and they'll walk right up to you. It's pretty neat.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What kind? Not white-tailed deer though, right? Different kind.
I don't even know, to be honest. I don't know my deer. That's a question for my brother. But okay,
Well, let's
same.
get Dylan on.
Yeah, let's get Dylan on. Same question to you. What animal would you be?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Um, if I had to be an animal, a polar bear would be pretty dope. The polar bear would be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Just being able to survive in the tundra.
Until your ice
Um,
caps melt.
well, maybe a polar bear with a boat, um, and some fishing rods. Well, that kind of ruined that one.
I'm kidding. You'd probably live out your life before that totally happens.
My ancestors or the people actually the my offspring would definitely face some type of
Yeah, yeah.
issue. But
Just don't have kids. That's the big thing, and that's something that
uh,
we preach in general on this podcast. Don't have kids.
yeah, I mean, look at us. I mean, really, why why did it even happen? You know, like this could have all been avoided.
Yes.
Um, but we're still happy you're here. And maybe I'll let me just look up. I'm gonna look up a random animal generator right now just to get my true animal. Sometimes who we are is not actually how we feel about ourselves. You know, we look at ourselves one way, but the world looks at us a different way.
In a random way. In a random
In a
generator way.
That's exactly what random generators were made for. So, Lucas, I'm gonna roll this for you as well.
Okay.
Um, but it's giving me a list of them.
Okay.
So I hit custom. Oh, I can change the data set. Let me do this. All right,
Wow.
I'm gonna hit. Yeah, the data set. We're gonna rerun that. All right, here's Lucas's. Come on, give me a rerun. All right, Lucas, would you like to guess what it's given you?
It's giving me an owl.
It's giving you a weasel. You're a weasel. You're just
Okay, that's funny. I'll accept that.
all right. Now for mine, I got a lamb. Uh,
A lamb.
yeah.
Nice.
Well, I'll be lambs. That
I saw a
that
really
was not
weird
as fulfilling.
I saw a really weird movie about a lamb last year.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
was it? A evil? Was it a sentient being or?
Yeah, it's a movie called Lamb. Um
Good name. Good name for a movie about a lamb.
it's kind of this weird atmospheric like horror film about this couple who lives kind of in the middle of nowhere like in Iceland or something, and they own a lamb farm. And this couple, like one of their lambs gives birth to this half lamb half human hybrid, and the family, the two people who own the farm, kind of take this lamb in as their own and start to raise it like as their kid. This half lamb, half human. It's got like a human baby arm and a lamb head, and it walks around on its hind feet. It's really creepy. But they take it in as their own, and you come to find out that they had a kid who died at a very young age. So this is why they're taking in this hybrid beast thing. And by the end of the movie, you see how this lamb came to be. Because initial thoughts, maybe the husband was fucking a lamb. That's not what was happening. It's pretty weird shit that happens by the end of the movie. Pretty fucked up.
Well, you heard it from Lucas. Watch it.
It's not for everyone. I watched it with one of my roommates in Jersey, and he fucking hated it. Absolutely hated it. I love it. I think it's great.
Well, love it or hate it, just watch it.
You won't forget it.
You will never. It will take up a little puzzle piece of your brain and never let go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of puzzles, Lucas, is there anything else you'd like to mention before we move
on? Speaking of puzzles, no, there's not. And if you don't have anything else, maybe we can get into today's ad read.
Yeah. Speaking of puzzles, we can get it. Absolutely.
Yeah, let's pull it up.
All right.
This is a little different than what we've done previously, but I'll let you take it away once you've got it pulled up here.
Alrighty, this is our ad read today. Just feel like I had to say it again, just to draw more attention to the sponsor. We're trying to do our best to show them within a good light. We don't want any of our sponsors to get mad at us, obviously.
Right.
How many sponsors have we managed to keep any of the sponsors that we've had?
No.
And what's been your experience on the back end of that, working with the companies?
Well, we lose all our money, so it's bad. We're struggling to keep this pod afloat because we can't hold on to anyone to support us. But I think this is the one.
This is the day everything changes.
This is kind of like an investment opportunity. So we've invested in this, and we're encouraging other people to invest into it. And this is hopefully going to be a long-term payoff. We're not going to get money immediately, but you'll kind of understand once we tell you what it's about here. Yeah,
we've decided that we're tired of having companies just blindly back us and not get anything out of it. So we've decided, they have to pay us if we own a stake in the company, right?
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Today we are actually sponsoring a crowdfunding project from one of our favorite directors, Carl Pentagon.
Shout out, Carl.
Shout out to Carl for being the Pentagon that has 5 sides, I believe.
Yeah.
Got multiple personalities, that Carl. We'll give you a brief synopsis of the film he's trying to create and a website where you can help fund the production and even get early access to the finished movie. As we all know, Carl P, as in Pentagon, that is a 5-sided shape. He's an award-winning director, having previously directed Sunshine, Sweet. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional here.
Patrick's watched this film, and it does make you cry.
We're very invested into it emotionally and financially. So, Sunshine. So he previously directed Sunshine, Sweet Honky Sun-Kissed Body, and also Rocks Underwater, which I believe was a documentary.
Yes, that was one of my favorites.
His debut film came out in 2002, titled 750 Stray Pubes. This next project is titled Choo Choo. That is CHOO. Let me give you a brief rundown of the plot. A man by the name of Longhorn loses his job at the local brothel. He goes home to his family and tells them that he's had enough. He's hopping on a train to Maine. Once Longhorn finds his train, he stows away in the caboose. After a few days of uneventful riding, he decides to move up a train car. Move up.
Yeah, he advances his body into the next train car.
This is when he realizes he has made a mistake. The next 7 cars will put him through the absolute ringer, the inferno, the 7 layers of hell. He enters the first car, the dining car. Shout out to the dining car from the Oriental Express, the David
Hmm.
Copperfield special. The
Quick
door
shout
locks
out.
behind. Yeah, good shout out. Thank you. The door locks behind him. A larger man will force him to eat 10,000 cockroaches or he will die. So it's kind of like a fear factor train type of thing, but there's death.
Yeah, there's death involved, and it does get a little weird.
Well, assuming that he completes it, well, I guess he does. He's shoved into the next car. Next, Longhorn will have to engage in sexual intercourse with a small goat. The goat is of age. We don't want to get demonetized here.
Yeah, I wish I would have put lamb, or I wish Carl would have made it a lamb. I should correct myself because
There you go.
that would have been funny. But it's a
Yeah,
goat. It's a small goat, and he has to engage in sexual intercourse until he completes, until he finishes. Yeah.
and it is of age. I believe the goat is 7. So in human years, that's in the mid 20s. I want to say
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
late 40s,
Right.
somewhere in between.
Right.
You won't believe the next car. It's a liar. You won't believe the next. I'm kidding. All right, you won't believe the next car. Somehow the people on this train have gotten a hold of Longhorn's family. I didn't even know they were on for the ride.
Yeah, he didn't either.
Well, he is required to murder one family member with a sickle before moving on. He will be choosing between his mother, his sister, or her newborn baby. I won't
Tough.
spoil too much more, but here's one more car you'll be seeing.
Yeah, tell us.
So,
You know the next one.
yeah, so I'm not going to say who he has to murder, but let's just say it's the child. Um, so I'm kidding. I don't. It's one of them. Just don't take my word for it. You're going to want to watch it yourself. But after that, he goes on to Longhorn appears in the. I think this is the second to last train car, and
Oh, there's a couple more. I think
oh,
there's 4 more still. So this is like the middle car.
oh, right, right. The order of the train. It's messing with my train of
Yeah,
thought.
there's the caboose, and then you get 7 cars, and then the engine.
So in the next one, it's like he has to he has to decide which there's a it's like a chicken facility. It's like a house where a bunch of people are modeling their chickens, and he has to decide which one looks the sexiest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he picks the one that nobody expects. Like,
And is that going to pay off for him? You're going to have to wait and see the movie.
yeah, I'm not going to say anything else about that, but
This
it
is
all
definitely
accumulates.
this. It's definitely one of the most pivotal moments in the film.
Yeah, you don't really, it's really in its heart, it pulls at your heartstrings because you don't want to be, everybody thinks of themselves as one of those chickens, and having to be rated by somebody, like, oh, this chicken's a 4, well, this one looks like it's a 7. Everybody's felt that way before, so it really uniquely kind of ties that back into the beauty standards.
Yeah.
But it all accumulates in a boss fight at the train engine, and you will not believe it. You will. There's no way you are going to believe it. You will refuse to even after you see it. But
Do we want to tell him? Should we tell him who he fights at the boss fight?
well, I think it's actually a combination of 4 different people.
Right.
It's I want to say that it was the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Uh-huh. Yep.
That was fused with the name is escaping me. Who was that?
Kevin Spacey.
So it was the Ghost of Christmas Past mixed with Kevin Spacey and Robin Williams' dead body, but also was it Gumby?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you got it. Yep. So he'll be fighting the combination of those four entities, and it's you're not gonna see how it's gonna go. I guarantee you will not guess what's gonna happen here, and it is pretty crazy. But I want to give you. I don't want to spoil too much. There's still three other cars that we haven't talked about. I'll give you one more if you want.
Yeah, give them one more.
I'll
Give
give
them
you
one
guys
more, I
one
think.
more, and then we'll leave two that are going to be a mystery, so you still have some surprise coming into the movie. And even though you know what the cars are, you're not going to know how they play out because it gets spicy. But
Some do one that would make them want to see the movie. Like they
okay, okay, I'll give you this one then. This is the second to last car, so this is in the middle of the three that I haven't mentioned yet, that we haven't mentioned. This one is so. Let me just recap here. So the first one, he has to eat 10,000 cockroaches, and then he has to have sexual intercourse with a small goat. Then he is required to murder one of his family members, and then he has to judge the hottest chicken. Um, and then we got a mystery car. I won't say that. And then the next one is he goes into this car. It's totally empty, and there is a $50 on a wooden table, and he has to go up to this table and flip this $50 until he gets 50 heads in a row. And every
And
time
is this a dollar? Is this a half of a dollar
it's a half
or
dollar coin, yeah.
oh, it's a coin.
It's a coin, and he has to flip this coin until he gets 50 heads in a row. And what happens is every time he doesn't, he gets titty twisted by a young child until and he
Is
gets
that legal?
It's 18 years old is the child. And he gets titty twisted by this young man, this young child. However many times he flipped heads. So if he flips 49 heads in a row and then gets the tails, he's getting titty twisted 49 times.
So for all of the heads leading up to that, tails.
Yes, that's
Flip.
how many. But if he gets 50, then he's good. He's good to move on. So if he flips 10 heads in a row and then a tails, he's getting titty twisted 10 times. So, there's the risk of his nipples falling off.
Who needs them though? I mean, what? I mean, they just what do they? They just help. They help you see, right? That's all. I mean, you get a.
Yeah, I mean, you can live without him. But why don't you tell us where we can support this film?
Well, you can support this. If this film sounds like something you'd want to watch, if it's interesting to you, please support our friend Carl Pentagon. That is Carl Pentagon, and that is Carl with his last name is spelled like the shape that has the 5 different sides, like a stop sign, and by well, not a stop sign. That one's like Carl Pentagon plus 3 extra sides, but you get what I mean. Carl Pentagon, that is CARL Pent PENT Agon, and by you can get to him by going to Pentagon. That's the same spelling as Carl's last name. The second word is something that I haven't seen before. Could you sound it out for me?
Yeah, films.
And what does that really mean for the listeners?
That's another word for a movie. It's a
All
synonym
right,
for
that's a
movie.
different movie. Is that a different movie?
No, so this is the same movie. It's just a different word.
Well, it's a little
Pentagon
confusing.
Films.
All right, I'll just let Lucas say it again for you.
That is pentagonfilms.com.
Yep, so you can go there and donate to that movie. But really, why would you? Because frankly, we know who you are. You're trying to make your own movie right now. You're an aspiring filmmaker, aren't you?
Yeah, they look. This is going to be a better movie than anyone can make. So you should fund this movie because Carl is a superb director, and he actually wrote the script for this too. He's a fantastic writer. He's got a great cinematographer on board. He's got a great cast already assembled, and you should film this movie, or you should fund this movie because it's going to be better than anything you could do. So
Yeah,
go to pentagonfilms.com.
I mean, there the boss fight alone. I mean, you have the Ghost of Christmas Past. You have Kevin Spacey mixed
Mm-hmm.
with the dead body of Robin Williams. Rest in peace. No hate, no hate at all for him. For, as much as I've said other things in the past that may have differed from that statement, but yeah. So you have the Ghost of Christmas Past. You have Kevin Spacey, Robin Williams' dead body, maybe dressed up as Mrs. Doubtfire, mixed with. There was one more, Gumby. That's who it was. So you really have it's a star-studded cast. Just the amount of money that was put into just the boss fight to have those roles filled.
Right.
That was a lot, and the catering costs. I mean, think about the catering costs.
Yeah, they're expensive when you got a big cast, and the budget for this movie is definitely it's not large. It's not like a blockbuster, but it's certainly not quite indie film budget either. It's somewhere in the middle. So Carl does need support from us and from you guys. So please go fund this film.
Are you going to let Robin Williams' dead body starve on set?
No, yeah, it's cruel. So please help us and
I
fund
mean,
Carl.
Gumby is already on the last limb.
Yeah, he might eat Robin Williams if we don't fund this movie.
Maybe it's a sequel, Maybe we just dropped a little hint on you right there.
It's actually going to be a trilogy if this first one does well. There'll be a series of movies and maybe a spin-off TV show.
Like the first 3 movies of Star Wars?
Yeah, exactly like that. This is the new wave in, I'm not going to say sci-fi because it's not, but this is the new wave in dark fantasy movies.
Train.
There's also going to be a video game on it, which makes sense. There's already a boss fight in the movie, so they're making some video games, some arcade games, and it's also coming to PS5. So,
Yeah.
look forward to that.
Have fun trying to get one of those.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. We've hidden 5 of them under the Pacific Ocean. You will, on your quest, you will have to utilize it's not a magnet. It's not one of those metal detectors. That's the word. It's a lie detector. So you have to use a lie detector test underwater and try to find some PS5s.
Take your polygraph, get your scuba gear, get digging.
Dig it. Can you dig it?
The first listener to send us an email, we will give you the exact coordinates of one of those PS5s. So please send us an email. We'll tell you where the first one's at. All you need is a polygraph and some scuba gear, and you can go find it.
Yep, you provide all of that. We'll provide the coordinates to the PS5. Maybe if you find it, maybe you get to take over the podcast. Maybe then we have to go look for another PS5 to get the podcast back in our control.
Could be a fun game, yeah. So please send us an email, and yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, so that was pentagonfilms.com. Please donate and watch the movie when it comes out.
Yeah, it's slated to come out early 2024. Right now, they're still in pre-production, so it's going to be a little bit, but you're going to get your long-term investment. You'll get behind-the-scenes privileges leading up to the release, and then you'll get it released months before the actual movie hits theaters. So yeah, go fund it.
But if that's not for you, you could always, if you want to stream it illegally, it is available right now on 123movies.net /////888 Jeffrey 88 / underscore // splash, the words backsplash 87, and that's the link for the illegal download. But yes, but feel free to donate at pentagonfilms.com. Help us get this movie funded, even though there is a illegal version out there right now. Who's to say that it's better than the original that is yet to come out?
Yeah, well said. Patrick, are you ready to move on to today's entertainment review?
Well, I've been on the Lucas. I got a confession to make.
Okay.
Do you think it's okay for me to make this confession in front of our listeners?
I don't know. I don't know what you're about to say.
Well,
but I want to hear it. Go ahead.
I've been dealing with some chakra issues, a large amount of chakra issues.
Sure. Hate that.
Regarding magic.
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So you could say my issue revolves around big trick energy.
Wow.
Big trick.
What a great segue.
Yeah, speaking of big trick energy, that is actually what the show is that we're gonna review today.
Big Trick Energy. Why don't you tell us what that show is, Patrick, for those who haven't heard of it?
Well, pretty much True TV got desperate.
Immediately just slapping down these four guys.
Well, a good way. Have you ever watched if you for people who've watched Impractical Jokers, a lot of people have.
Yes.
Carbonaro Effect, maybe some people have.
Yes.
It's like those two shows were blended together.
Yes, they're trying to do magic like in real time, but make it funny. But it ends up, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird. I've never watched a magic episode like this.
It's a dynamic of like 3-4 friends who all know each other. I think they're all from Canada.
Yeah, you got Chris Ramsey, Eric LeClaire, Wes Barker, and Alex Boyer, who are 4 fantastic magicians on their own. 3 of them have been on Penn and Teller's Fool Us. They all perform all over the globe. Chris Ramsey has a very successful YouTube channel where he does magic and puzzles as well. He's really big on the puzzle front. But
mostly puzzles these days.
Mostly puzzles these days. That's where he makes his bread and butter. But yeah, I mean, I like all 4 of the guys as magicians. I think they're all great.
Eric LeClaire, he's had at least a couple TV shows.
Yeah, he's a legend. I really like Wes Barker. I really like Wes. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, I really didn't know about him until first seeing this episode. Had heard of him. And then Alex Boyer. Did you know of Alex Boyer before this?
Yep.
Yeah,
I did. Yep,
he's known as the guy with the hair.
He's the guy with the hair. He's got nice hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is it's a 30 minutes, just under 30 minutes episode.
Yeah, 26-27 minutes without commercials.
So we get this intro. I actually enjoyed the intro, where they're in a junkyard and we get a slow-mo shot of them walking through a junkyard with some like opera music playing, and then the camera pans over and there's a violinist and a bass player and someone singing in the junkyard, and then it pans to the other side of the junkyard and there's 4 porta potties that they each get into. They each get into their own porta potty, and then a few seconds later a car falls out of the sky on top of 3 of them, and then they all come out of the last porta potty, which is I thought it was a pretty good intro.
Yeah, definitely a cool way to kind of introduce the show and the comedy behind it. Because as the car gets dropped on top of the three, the remaining one, shortly after the car gets dropped, opens up. Three guys come out, and then there's one. I think it was Wes. Am I right?
Yes.
Wes was on the toilet with his pants down, like close the door, close the door.
Yes.
So pretty humorous way to open the show with also some magic, and that kind of comes full circle, but we'll get to that towards the end. So yeah, in my opinion, this is like true TV mixing Impractical Jokers, which is a group of friends getting each other to do stupid things to random people.
One of the best TV shows, in my opinion. One of the only TV shows I watch. I don't watch TV, but I love Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, it gives you. I mean, we both were big fans of Whose Line Is It Anyway growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of has a little bit of that flair to it, like but with like a prank kind of feel.
Right.
Big Trick Energy has somewhat of a prank feel to it in some instances. But yeah, definitely lighthearted. And you can tell that that all of the cast is friends with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then we get that intro, and then we get like an intro onto who's who. Like they kind of break down the names, and I don't know if you took note of this, but like the transition slides from person to person were very hard to watch. Like it was just a jumble.
Are you talking about the weird like black and white, but also like the weird red filters that they use?
It's just like transitioning in and out of scenes, and I'm just like, what am I watching right now? Like I couldn't focus on anything. It was just bungled up.
It was pretty awful to the eye. It's not even you don't see it. You see it again later too, at least a couple more times.
A little bit.
I don't know what they were going for.
Just really bad transitions. Really bad.
Like they could have made it so much simpler, and it would have been 10 times as smooth.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the show, they kind of talk about it starts with them talking about Eric Leclerc's van that he uses for traveling shows.
Yeah.
His minivan. So the whole premise of the show, I guess, comes from Eric needing to get a new car and wanting to trade in his minivan. It's shown that he has a BMW as well, but they decide to take the minivan and do some fun stuff with the minivan. But the first real trick of the episode involves the Great Ramsey,
mm-hmm.
which is a persona that Chris Ramsey puts on, wearing like a cloak, like a suit, a cape,
top
hat, and a fake beard.
Even though he has a big real beard,
right.
Just
right.
funny.
So Lucas, it's a card trick. Why don't you explain what he does? It's in a basketball court.
It is a card trick. So he steals this basketball from people playing and has one of the players name any card, and he says the 8. I think it was the 8 of clubs, and Chris cuts the basketball open with a razor blade and reaches in and pulls out the ace of diamonds. And he puts his hand back in there and pulls out another card incorrectly, pulls out another card that is incorrect, and he eventually just pulls an entire deck out of the basketball and says, like, well, we fucked this one up. And then he points to the backboard of the basketball hoop, and there's a card stuck on it, and so they go over and jump up and grab it, and it is the card that they named.
And how did this make you feel? How did you feel about this one?
I felt okay about it. It's fine. I don't think it's a great trick. I don't know. I'd have to think
Just
about it
kind of
a while
indifferent
longer.
about it.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever. Like, I believe it was probably done for real.
Yeah,
Uh,
but definitely had some production behind it
yeah,
happening.
definitely. Yeah.
Um, Also, to end it, he gets carried off of the court by the basketball,
Yes.
by the people playing basketball, which was a little odd, um,
I thought it was
but
sexy.
humorous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Then we get a
So
then we
after
get a beer trick at the car dealership, right? Or is there something before that?
yes, that is the next thing, and it's I there's parts of this that I like, and then there's parts of it that I don't like. There's aspects that I. How did you feel about this one?
I did not like this trick.
Yeah,
No.
I
This
I
is
like
one
the
this is one
concept.
where it's like this is a Carbonaro trick. And this is clearly inspired by the way that Michael Carbonaro performs in his TV show.
Oh, really? Like, is the trick actually similar to a different trick, or
No,
is it
just
just a
just the
style thing?
idea, just the idea of presenting magic in a public space as something that's normal in everyday life. Because that's what Michael
Oh,
does,
okay.
and that's what Chris is. That's immediately what I thought when he pulled out that beer handle. I was like, wow, this is something that Michael Carbonaro would do.
Yeah, so Chris picks up there's this water jug next to a bench in front of this car dealership that they went to. Somebody's already sitting on the bench. He goes up, gets a cup of water from the water cooler, the water jug, drinks it, starts talking small talk with this guy, picks up this beer tap handle
Mm-hmm.
um, on the ground or something. He just picks it up.
Yep.
There's a suction cup on the end that attaches to the actual water jug,
Yeah, the clear part of the water jug.
and then he takes his cup and he puts it under the nozzle of the tap, pulls on the handle, and then beer starts to come out of it. Um,
Yeah.
and I think if this was done more thoughtfully, I think it might look a little less gimmicky, but it definitely comes off as something that's really like it comes off as there's a mechanism inside of this beer tap thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward on how it's done. Like, I don't think it's like, it's a good gag, but it's, as a magic trick, it's not good.
I think that the ending of it it gave him some points back. I
Sure.
think
Yeah.
I think at least they ended it that way. So after he pours 3 cups of beer for him and the 2 people near him, um, and they verify that it's real beer, he pulls the tap off, and there's a hole where the tap was suctioned at, and then there's
Yep.
just water spewing out of it as soon as he pulls it away. So I
Right.
thought that was a cool touch, but everything else was just a little bit just out there.
Yeah.
They present, like you said, they presented it as if it was like a Carbonaro thing where it's happening on the fly, and you're showing somebody something real,
Right.
but it's not done in a real enough way. Like it's just too from start to finish. It's just out there, and
Also, the beer looked really weird.
it does.
Almost looked like cranberry juice. Like, it had a very red tint to it. I don't know what kind of beer it was, but
I was impressed by the amount of beer that came out of it.
yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but Lucas is like, the quantity of liquid is not impressive.
No.
But yeah, yep, there's that, and then you get
And then next up, we get the Straightjacket Escape from Eric, where they're
but
cleaning. Go ahead.
shout out to shout out to Alex prior to that for pulling out this giant straw out of a bag.
Oh yeah, the classic. I have one of those. That's a giant magic wand. It's a fun little illusion.
where you just take a paper bag and then you're just pulling out this.
Pull it like an 8-foot pencil or a straw in
Right.
this case, or a magic wand.
But yeah, like you said, we do have the straitjacket, and this is a pretty entertaining concept.
Yeah, so Eric's cleaning out his car, and they're gonna get it washed, and he supposedly had a straitjacket inside. So they decide to tie Eric up in the straitjacket and lay him down in the back of the van. They stripped all the seats out of it, so it's just an empty floorboard. So he's laying in there, and Wes gets in the driver's seat to drive into the car wash. And Eric's going to try to escape the straitjacket before the car reaches the end of the car wash.
And
And
his prize, if he does it, this isn't even significant in a couple seconds, but it was said that his prize for it was he would get his car detailed if he
yes,
was able to do it.
fully detailed, most expensive detail they have. But before the car gets in the car wash, Wes jumps out of the car, opens both back doors and some of the windows. So Eric is now lying in the back of the van and is going to get pelted by soap and water as it's going through the car wash, trying to escape this. And that's what we get to watch. So we get to watch him going through this car wash while he's just getting absolutely slammed with water and soap and trying to escape a straitjacket.
And they act like Eric doesn't know that that's going to happen and stuff, but
Yeah, it's fairly. I think if he didn't know that that was going to happen, I would have jumped out of the car because I don't think he was restrained to the car, right?
And there's some right.
He could have just hopped out of the car. I definitely would have gone through a car wash like that
Because
unless it was already
there's
set
some
up.
questions. You would ask some questions there, like is this safe? Are the chemicals that get on me, like there would be a process of making sure that it's safe to do.
Yeah.
But outside of that little thing, I think it's a pretty entertaining bit. Definitely in terms of a reality TV show type of thing, it's pretty good.
I agree.
And he did genuinely get pelted with soap and water, and
that's pretty good. That's pretty funny. And he did not escape the straitjacket fully.
Right. Just as an added bonus, he ruins his van, and he
doesn't escape. Yeah.
And then he just hops out and starts chasing all of them afterwards.
Yeah. But then we get into some close-up magic, right?
What's the caveat, though?
The caveat here is they are going to be wearing a shock collar, and the other guys. So this is where it's like an Impractical Jokers thing.
Right.
They're standing in a park somewhere, and 3 of them are behind a screen watching with the shock collar remote, and the other one is out performing with the shock collar on, and they're just trying to get people to come up and show them some magic, and at any point they can get shocked. How did you feel about this?
Well, I like that the safe word was Regis Philbin, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, I didn't pick that up. That's funny.
Yeah, Chris ends up screaming it, but he's the only person that ever says it. But I think that there's a lot of entertainment value here. But the magic is almost insignificant. The fact that magic is being done is almost insignificant.
I agree.
I have seen this. This is not the first time that I've seen something like this, because I think Chris Ramsey actually originated this idea, or one of his friends. I've seen multiple YouTube videos of him and a group of friends just doing this to each other.
Really?
In their own circle of friends, not for actual people.
Right.
So, yeah, he definitely brought this idea to the table.
I think it would be funny, like during a stage show where the premise is already set up, but to just do random street magic where people don't know what's going on, I don't think it's very good.
There's a lot for the person to absorb who's watching it. There's a lot of factors, like magic is already enough to occupy your brain, right?
Yeah.
So you combining that with the shock collar.
Yeah. Combine it with him getting shocked in the neck and falling to the ground. It's just like, what's going on? You know?
Right. Ashton Kutcher? Are you
What?
Ashton? They might think that they're getting punked. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just I definitely wonder what's going. You can tell that the people I mean, because part of you as a genuine person, you're like, is this genuinely like, are you being hurt by this? Um, you know?
It's weird. And then the finale of it is Eric's doing it, and he has someone think of a word. And after getting shocked several times, he takes the collar off, and the word is imprinted in a burn on his neck, and the word is rain, and that's the word that the person is thinking of. And what I hate about it is the other three guys behind the TV watching this are just like, oh, whoa. And they're like acting surprised. And it's like, no. Just say,
It's clearly so set up.
just say Eric's got a special one involving the shock collar setup, and just be honest about it. You don't need to pretend that Eric fooled you with that.
So
you know?
they reacted as if they didn't even know what was going to happen.
Yeah, that's crap.
But the whole premise of it is they're shocking him so much that he says it's burning, and then that's when he takes off the collar and reveals that this word is burned into his skin.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What do we got next? Then we get some car dealership magic, which is definitely my least favorite part of the show. There's a couple segments with this, but fuck. You want to tell us what that is?
Well, they meet this guy, the car dealership salesman or owner, one of the two. And they're looking for a new car for Eric after the van debacle, and I guess he's trading in his van and picking up something new. So they end up going. He was looking for a lot of trunk space, right? Or a lot of storage space.
Right.
Well, the dealer or the salesman ends up telling him to go to this car right here, and it's not. So he had a van before, right? Well, he gets pointed to this regular car, like this sedan.
Right. Yeah, just
normal,
like a Chevy Malibu.
Right, sure. And he opens up the trunk. He's like, you could fit a couple dead bodies in there for some of your tricks. As I'm thinking of this right now, that alone alludes to the trick that's going to happen.
Right.
Which just really reveals how set up, like it openly reveals how set up it is. But
right.
But pretty much so he like talks about the trunk space and they close it. And then I think Eric just starts pushing on the back of the trunk, just kind of like shoving the car, like seeing like the sturdiness of I have no idea. Just pushing up and down on the car. And eventually they open up the trunk again, right?
Uh-huh.
And all of, was it everybody else?
No, it was just Wes and I think Alex, or Wes and Chris were inside the trunk.
Wes and Chris pop out of the trunk after it was just recently revealed to be empty.
Yep.
Just really unnecessary.
Yeah, we get a lot of different styles in here. We get not only impractical jokers, which aren't magicians, but we get Michael Carbonaro, and now we get a little Chris Angel in there. So it's just a pile. It's just a pile.
That's not where it's not where the Chris Angel ends, though.
Unfortunately, not.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But then they test drive this Jeep. Yeah. They don't even end up using that car. It's so weird because the car dealer even directs them to this car that they end up doing the trick with.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of issues with the continuity of it. There's just anyways, they end up test driving this Jeep for some reason. And so they're all riding in this Jeep, and then in traffic, they're stopped at a red light. Lucas, why don't you tell them what happens?
This part is so stupid. They hop out of their Jeep. Alex hops out of the Jeep and goes up to this car behind him and he's got this big drawing pad, and he writes down, what is it? I love you, and then changes the L to a D. So it says I dove you, and then rips the paper off and makes a dove appear out of the paper. all while they're supposedly stopped in traffic. And I don't know, they were next to a curb. Maybe they weren't actually in a road. But just the idea of trying to do a quick stage illusion in the middle of traffic is, I don't know. I don't like it very much.
Well, the way that they were able to, do you remember that they were able to pick up like a line from the person who saw it in her car?
Yes.
So you had a pretty clear line that you could hear from her that didn't sound like it was coming through, like it sounded like they had her mic'd pretty much.
Right.
But I mean, I can't say that for sure, but definitely questionable. Doing magic in the middle of traffic. I mean, I get what they're trying to do.
I don't know. It just doesn't. I just don't think it works here.
Do something with cars.
I don't know. Yeah, do something with matchbook cars, Hot Wheels.
Yeah, make a dove appear. This is the first real time you really get to see Alex do magic, and it's in the middle of the road, making a bird appear out of a piece of paper.
Yep.
Great hair though.
He does have great hair, and he's a cool dude. As much as I don't necessarily enjoy the show, I truly do enjoy these four magicians. So it's just weird to see them in a show that, for the most part, isn't that great. Because the four of them by themselves and even together outside of the show are fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really speak for... I mean, I guess I've stood within a small distance of Chris Ramsey in this hotel lobby. Like I was maybe like 10, 15 feet away from him while he was in this little conversation. And he seemed kind of like... He just seemed kind of like in his own bubble over there, so I really didn't get to talk to him. He's done some things that I disagree with in terms of revealing certain magic online.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Turner watch, you remember that?
Oh, he's revealed that?
You haven't seen it? Really? I guess I must have had this... I've talked to multiple people about it over the years, but you didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
He literally has it's almost like an advertisement for the Turner watch where I think he was given a free one and or is friends with the people who made it. And he pretty much has like a 15-minute video that's like an ad for it that reveals it and stuff.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, as a person who was like an early owner of them, and the whole premise of this prop was to keep it secret.
Right.
Like the website for it was nobody knows.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. Well, that's the main beef that I have with Chris Ramsey. Other than that, a lot of respect for him and the platform that he has. But I haven't met Wes or Alex, but I spent some time talking to Eric LeClaire. In Ohio as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a really nice guy, really, really fun guy.
Yeah, I remember when he was doing his 365 Days of Magic on his YouTube channel ages ago now, probably 10 years ago, where he did for a whole year, he posted a magic trick on YouTube.
Oh, was he one of the people who kind of kicked off that trend?
I think so. Yeah, I think he was the guy who started it. But yeah, so now after the traffic music, I also had a note that the dubstep music going along with some of the stuff, like there's in the traffic trick where Alex makes a bird appear, there's just like heavy dubstep going on, and I don't know, I always hate that, but that's just a minor detail. Then we get my favorite trick of the episode, which is kind of a cell phone roulette type of deal where Wes borrows someone's cell phone and mixes it among four dummy cell phones with Velcro on the back of each one. He puts Velcro on the back of this guy's phone and then mixes it among the other four.
Yeah, it's like he puts a different phone case with Velcro on it onto this guy's phone, so it blends in with the other phones.
So they mix the phones up and Velcro them to a target, a wooden target that they're going to throw axes at. So then Wes has the person name which phone they want him to hit, and he throws the axe and tries to hit it. So first the guy says bottom right, and then Wes throws and hits the middle phone. So it's like, oh shit, this guy might not have that good accuracy here. So this really is chance. So then he fires up, and then I think he hits all the other ones. So maybe that was intentional, but he hits 3 other phones, and the one that's remaining, they have another person call the phone, and it's seen to be ringing on the target board, which I love this trick.
Yeah, good trick, and it utilizes both magic and skill.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like genuine. He's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. This was not much. Don't really have much to say about it other than it's it's something you'd want to see on stage.
Yeah, Wes has really good like physical routines that play really big. His performance on Fool Us is one of my favorites. He does a trick with a phone book that fooled Penn and Teller, and it's so good, and it's got the same kind of vibe, just really like large and a lot of moving parts and very physical, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that one.
It's really good. It's really good.
Is he the only one of them that has been on Fool Us?
No, Alex has been on there, and Eric. I think Eric fooled him as well with something.
I'm surprised Chris hasn't been on there.
Chris has not been on there. Alex was on there. He did not fool him. He did a great version of a Russian roulette, though. And I forget what Eric did, but it was, I think it was something with styrofoam peanuts, actually, if I'm remembering correctly.
Seems right up his alley.
Yeah. He may have been on there twice even, but I can't remember. But after the phone roulette, we're back to the dealership. Why don't you tell us what we get at the dealership for our final piece of the show here?
Well, it all kind of happens a little quick, and you don't really have Lucas, give me a second. Let's pause it right here. My headphone just died, so let me grab a new pair real quick.
Okay. Okay, so getting back into the car dealership, why don't you take us through our final bit of the show here?
Yeah, it's really it's almost a little bit hard to explain and get into it because it kind of, there's some things that are said but you don't really totally understand what they mean until later on. But essentially it's a prank at the car dealership on Eric. The initial thing that's supposed to happen that Eric knows about is, I guess, that all that's said is they're gonna bend the van, right?
Yeah.
So there's Eric's van parked in front, and I think to him it's like they're gonna do this van bend in front of van bend.
Whoa.
They're doing this van bend in front of the one of the guys, that I think the salesman or something.
Right.
But little does Eric know it's a prank on him. So what happens is Alex is supposed to be the one bending the van, but as he's like gesturing towards the van with his powerful magician gesture, the van gets driven away as he's doing that. So then Eric's like, whoa, what's going on? And remember how we mentioned that he had a BMW early on in this?
Yes.
Well, the BMW that's his is parked right behind this van that's revealed when the van drives away. So now the bend begins with the BMW.
Right.
What does this mean? Everybody's probably wondering, like, what's a van bend? What's a car bend? Well, Alex just starts to like use his magical like powers towards this car, and it just starts to crumple. Like, legitimately starts to dent.
It just
and
folds
break.
in on itself.
It really does. Like, it looks kind of cool, but clearly you know, I mean, Eric is like crazy upset. He thinks that his car is legitimately being destroyed, according to what you see on the camera. Very fake, very, 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 very fake. And it ends up not even being his car.
Right.
At the end. Like, they end up being like, it's okay, Eric, don't be mad. Look, this isn't even your car. Like, this is just a identical one. We never, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I mean, the visual of crushing a car with seemingly nothing crushing it is pretty sweet.
Yeah, very cool, but it definitely is not happening the way that you see it.
I remember watching, gosh, now that I think about it, it might have been Val Valentino.
Is that the Masked Magician?
Yeah, it might have been the Masked Magician show. He sometime, it was either that or some science show, revealed how to like crush a semi truck trailer, like the ones that are circular, meant to hold liquid or stuff like that, by just sucking the air out of it. It just folds in on itself, and that's like something you could do for real and have people not know what the fuck's going on. But the way that they're doing this is I don't know, not very convincing. Even though the visual is great.
Eric's freaking out as if, you know, as if he's seeing it happen right before his eyes.
Right.
And it's not even his car.
Yeah.
He would have known that probably if he looked at the license plates. Maybe he consented. Maybe it's possible that he consented to the license plates being from his old car on there for the trick. Who knows? Who really even knows? Maybe the license plate's fake. Yeah. It was a nice car, though. It was a nice car before they destroyed it.
Yeah, it is a nice car.
And everything. Do you have anything else to say about the BMW thing?
I don't.
So then everything just kind of ends as it begins. I mentioned this at the beginning, that it would all come full circle from the outhouse thing. And it ends with this, you get the operatic music with some rock. It's like a rock opera type of thing. With an aerial view.
Yeah, like a drone view.
Yeah, of the first opening scene with the car smashing the outhouses.
Yep. So you see everything. They expose how that worked, and you can see through the drone view that when the three go into the urinal or go into the porta potty that the car is going to fall on top of, there's a door in the back that they run outside. They run behind a pile of junk, and behind Wes's porta potty that isn't going to get crushed, and then there's a door in the back of Wes's that they enter, and then that's how they all appear there. So I like that part. I think that was cool that they revealed how that intro worked, because the intro you kind of assume is a camera trick, and then they show it's just elaborate setup, which I like. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, but then there's things in there that are genuine camera tricks that they don't show you.
Yes.
You know, I like that they reveal it at the end, how the beginning thing is done, and it has a real explanation. But, yeah, I don't know. All in all, some things I really enjoyed in the show. It's definitely funny, no matter what your view is. It's definitely got some humor into it that you'll find interesting. But, and some of the trick plots are really cool, like the axe one. And even some of the ones that are staged. The ideas that are there are pretty cool, but then you get like doing the magic in traffic, which is a little weird. And just kind of, I don't think that they really had the audience. They weren't thinking much about the audience and the reactions to the magic that they were doing. Right.
Yeah.
Which made some of the reactions just kind of felt like actors in some cases. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't seem like it seemed like the main thought was the magic, understandable, but the way that people who are witnessing the magic view it makes it seem a little ridiculous in some cases.
Yeah.
Overall thoughts on the first episode of Big Trick Energy?
It's tough because I do love these four magicians, but I just don't see myself wanting to watch the rest of this show.
And that's because you like them so much that, and you've seen them do good things, that it's just hard to watch a show that doesn't do them justice.
For sure. Yeah, it's, you know, it's a combination of different styles of magic, and none of it's quite, as good as the actual styles that we see. Like the Carbonaro Trick isn't as great as what Michael does on his show. The stuff that they want to be street magic isn't really street magic because it's, some of it's set up before, so the audience isn't reacting as genuinely as we might see David Blaine in his shows. And then obviously we get some camera tricks in there, which as a magician is never great.
The show is trying to be a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. Overall, I think if you like these guys, it's, you should watch it, but I think overall I'm kind of hit and miss here. Watch it if it sounds appealing, but it's not like bad.
Right. Definitely not bad, and definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah.
But just when you know the true potential of everybody that's starring in it, it's just a little bit frustrating to watch.
Right.
So, would you recommend this to somebody?
I hit and miss. It's kind of like the Dynamo one. If you're a fan of magic, then maybe, but I don't know. I don't think I would necessarily recommend it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, well, you could watch it.
Yeah.
Like some people will find it entertaining, but it depends on what kind of stuff I guess it depends on how deep into magic you are, how much you've seen. If you don't have that big of an opinion on magic and just kind of enjoy it in general,
yeah, you'll probably like it more.
You'll like it.
Yeah.
So, but as a magician, would we recommend it? No.
Nope. But
so that's that.
That's Big Trick Energy.
That's BTE.
BTE. Big Trick Energy.
Big Chungus
Chakra.
Big Chungus Chakra. Well, it's time for you to do some trivia.
Cue the music.
It's time for some trivia.
All right. Music has been cued. We are on our way to Trivia Town. All righty. And if you know trivia, you know that this is what that is. And Lucas, can you give us the scoreboard analysis?
Scoreboard. We're approaching the end of our first segment of trivia. This is week 8. I still have 10 questions to answer before the end of our time. You have 5 questions to answer. The current standings are you have 14 points. I have 13 points. How the hell do I have 13 when they're worth 2 points apiece? That is from the Chicago bonus, which I believe was episode 6. It was episode 6. And so that's where we stand.
Yeah, the Chicago bonus is really, it's my Achilles. I was going to say tendon. It's my Achilles heel.
It's my Achilles belly button.
Yeah, it's my Chicago bella butt. Bella butt. All right. So I have, so you have 13 points.
Yeah.
I have 10.
You have 14. Yeah, you have 10. You have 10.
Wait. I have
You have 14.
No, I don't. Do I?
Yes, you do.
Oh,
Yes, you
right.
do.
But we're behind us. So
Yes.
you'll be matched up with my points as soon as this round is done. We'll both have one more round each to do. Correct.
Correct. Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Thanks for hanging in there with us, everybody. We're just trying to figure everything out. I don't want to. There's a lot at stake here, so I don't want to lose. Based on a technicality like that, like the points. So what's at stake here? Well, the loser has to film a video performing a trick from start to finish with the scripting, setting, maybe even what to wear. Everything is controlled by the winner, and the loser has to post this video, and it's gonna be, frankly, it's gonna be humiliating. So this is right up Lucas's alley, and I think he'll no, he's looking at me like, you're gonna lose, bitch. I probably will. Frankly, looking at it now,
the odds are in my favor, but anything can happen.
Right. I mean, let's look at it this way. You could bet on Lucas and get the safe money, or you could get those 5-1 odds on me.
Yeah. Get the bang for your buck if he pulls it out.
Yeah, so if you're a risky bettor, but you want that big return, send that money.
Yeah.
Well, it's so the trivia, I did make it topical based on today's review. Big Trick Energy. This is trivia about Big Trick Energy, either the show or about any of the people, whether it's Eric, Wes, Alex, or Dr. Ramsey. We're actually going to start with Dr. Ramsey. Well, his name's Chris. He doesn't have a doctorate. Maybe in puzzles, he's the puzzle doctor.
Yeah.
Well,
the beard doctor.
Well, I wouldn't say that. He's got a beard, yes.
Yeah, all right.
He's got a beard and 3 million YouTube subscribers. Does that make him a doctor? Probably. All right. Chris Ramsey appeared in the 2021 film Spiral in the role of Spees.
Yes, he did.
And some of his scenes were shown in which famous rapper's music video? All right, so this I'm glad that I didn't make it about the movie, because clearly you know about it.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna nail this. Yeah, never mind.
So some of his scenes from this movie were shown in a rapper's music video. Which famous rapper was it? Was it A, J. Cole, B, 21 Savage, C, Young Dolph, or D, Kendrick Lamar? I can read them again if you need me to.
J. Cole, 21 Savage. What were the next two?
So C was Young Dolph.
Mm-hmm.
That's DOLPH. And D is Kendrick Lamar.
I don't think it's Kendrick. I don't think it's J. Cole. I'm going to lock in B, 21 Savage.
All right, you are locking in B. Nothing can change your mind?
No.
Not even the real answer.
Going with the gut. Fuck you.
Well, unfortunately, you are correct. The answer is B, 21 Savage. Really unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know what, I don't even know what, I don't really care what music video it was, but I guess it is pretty cool. Chris Ramsey, I don't even know what Spiral is.
That is a Saw movie.
Oh, he was in a Saw movie?
Yeah, he was in a Saw movie as this drug dealer. What was his name? Spees?
Speez, yeah.
I don't think I would have remembered that. Yeah, he had a very small part in the newest Saw movie that has Chris Rock in it.
Really?
Yeah. He's this drug dealer in this drug house, and he's like, I don't know. I think he's gets into this like gunfight with Chris Rock at some point, and his partner, and is gets shot, and like he's trying to shoot them too. I don't know. He was actually pretty good in the movie in the brief few minutes that he had on screen.
Well, hey, yeah. So I guess some of that movie did appear in 21 Savage's one of his music videos. I should have made the question about what was Chris Ramsey's character name, but you might figure that out too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we're gonna stick along with the music. We're gonna keep tying in music into things, at least through this next question. Which country music singer appeared on the same episode of Ellen DeGeneres with the stars of Big Trick Energy? So all of them appeared on the same episode of Ellen, and there was one country music star featured on this episode. So one of the following was on this episode as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Was it A, Carrie Underwood, B, Luke Combs, C, Keith Urban, or D, Walker Hayes?
This is just another guess. I don't think it's Carey or Hayes. What was B and C?
B was Luke Combs, like comb, like with your hair.
Right.
And C was Keith Urban, the guy from Australia, I believe.
I'm going to guess Luke Combs because it's close to my name.
Like
Lucas.
Luke.
Yeah.
Combs.
B, Luke Combs, locking it in.
All right. Well, you are wrong. It is actually Keith Urban. You did get close. You got close in this one.
Okay.
So you were up to 15 points.
I have 15 points, yes.
Does that mean you're beating me by 1?
I'm beating you by 1.
All right. Hopefully if we can keep this going, at 1 point, that's the fucking Chicago bonus.
The Chicago bonus, we'd be tied.
So I can't tie with Lucas. It's impossible. Really is impossible.
Unless we get another Chicago bonus situation, which was also deemed to be impossible.
Well, unless it's unless Lucas is, if he's cool enough to, maybe Chicago will appear again. We'll get another bonus. But I'm not bent up about it. I support Chicago. I don't need the bonus. I don't know.
Okay.
Shout out to Chicago's Loop Hotel or something for the brownies thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that was the question.
So, question number 3. You are 1 for 2 right now. Eric Leclerc has won the Canadian Championship of Magic how many times?
Oh, boy.
All right. Is it A, 2 times, B, 3 times, C, 4 times, D, 5 times, bonus answer E, 0 times? It is not E.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm going to guess 3 times. He's won it 3 times.
Locking it in.
Locking it in.
All right. Lucas answered B 3 times. The correct answer is, drumroll, it is 2 times. He's won it 2 times. So 2 times is not 3. It was close. It was within 1 point. Chicago bonus territory. But he got it wrong. Eric Leclerc has won the Canadian Championship of Magic twice. Leads us to question number 4. This one's about Alex Boyer. And, I was kind of nice to you with this one.
Okay.
I considered the fact that you might have an idea of this, but I kept it in there anyways, because who knows? Maybe there's a chance.
All right.
But during the episode, you actually made an allusion to this. So you alluded to this. In Alex Boyer's Fool Us performance.
Oh boy.
You're drooling at the you're sucking this up.
I know it's probably harder than I'm imagining, but I'm ready.
I honestly don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
And I wrote this question after watching this performance for the first time.
Okay.
In Alex Boyer's Fool Us performance, there are 4 boxes on stage. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll explain the routine after, but it's revealed at the end of the routine that one of them has a knife underneath it.
Right.
Which box was it? A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, D, 4.
I think it was 2, locking in 2.
You're locking in 2.
Yep.
That was B. You want to stick
Yep.
with B?
I do.
Would you like to change?
I don't. I feel good about that.
Would you like to change for possible double points?
No.
All right. Well, he feels confident about it. It is 2. Unfortunately, I was really hoping that you didn't watch this, but then when you mentioned it during the podcast, I was like, this guy has watched probably every single Foolish performance out there.
I've watched most of them.
So in this Foolish performance, which you can just find on YouTube if you want to watch it, Alex has 4 spectators on stage, each one standing in front of a random box that has a number in front of them. So they randomly, prior to it starting, the spectators randomly stood in front of a box. Like they kind of shuffled themselves up. Allison Hannigan, shout out to the best Foolish host of all time. She picked a random, that was totally sarcastic, by the way. The best host of Foolish is, in fact, Jonathan Ross, the person who started Foolish. Allison, I've kind of grown to like her a little bit more, but bit of an odd matchup for the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. No hate.
I like her. But Jonathan Ross is a legend, and he was awesome to have on for that show.
I think my issue is I first watched Foolish with him, and then
yeah, he's so good at hamming it up with the people.
Right.
Yeah.
He's more of a live performer.
Right.
And less of an actor. Yes. Whereas Allison's probably more of an actor than a live performer. But she does fine. Like no complaints.
Yes.
And it's probably unfair to even compare the two. So
yeah.
So each spectator is standing in front of a random box with a number on it. And then Allison picked a random card. Each card had a random number, or had one of the numbers on it shuffled up. She randomly picks a card. This was box number 2. So what happened was the spectators that were standing in front of all the other boxes except for 2. So the person standing in front of box number 2 is asked to go behind it. But then all of the other people sit down on the box that's behind them.
Uh-huh.
And they all fall over. Like one at a time, it happens. They all fall over. Not really a big fan of how this plays out. Just seems...
It's a little goofy. Penn did mention the fact that he enjoyed the fact that it was a butt stab routine, which is pretty funny. But it is awkward to have them just like sit on a paper bag on stage and fall over.
Well, would you ever do this on a real stage that wasn't on TV? I would say probably not, because, I mean, it's a little, I don't know. You're forcing the people to fall over on stage pretty much.
Right.
So, I don't know. I got mixed feelings on that. The whole trick is pretty cool, though. So, of course, the guy that stands behind his box, number 2, was then revealed to have this big Bowie knife underneath it. Final question. Lucas is up 4 points.
Am I?
Correct.
I'm up 3 points. I got 4 points in this session. Yes. I'm up 3 points on you. Sorry.
Okay. Yes.
I've got 4 points this session.
Right. I'm at 14 right now, correct?
Yeah, and I'm at 17.
Right. So Lucas has one more chance to get even more ahead of me. So this is the final question number 5. In terms of televised views inside of the United States, how many people watched the most viewed episode of Big Trick Energy?
Okay.
So, yeah. So I know the question's kind of wordy, but pretty much it's how many people watched the most viewed episode.
Okay.
In the United States.
Okay.
And like I said, as far as I know, these numbers are just based on television only.
Okay.
Was it A, over 400,000 but less than 500,000?
Mm-hmm.
B, over 500,000 but less than 600,000?
Mm-hmm.
C, over 1 million but less than 1.5 million?
Mm-hmm.
Or D, less than 2 million but more than 1.5 million?
I saw that the YouTube had 77,000 watches. Can I lock that in?
What do you mean, can you lock that in?
Can I choose that 77,000 instead?
So you remember
That's what the
detail.
YouTube had. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna be optimistic because I like these guys, and I'm gonna hope that it's either C or D. But I'm not gonna get too ahead of myself. I'm gonna say D, 1 million to 1.5 million. I'm gonna lock that in.
So C is over 1 million but less than 1.5. That's the one that you want?
That's the one I'm going with.
Between 1 and 1.5.
Yes.
All right. And before we're going to build up the suspense here, but before we reveal the correct answer, I'd like to think that the YouTube thing was posted later on. Like, it probably wasn't immediately posted online.
Definitely.
But still having a full episode of a TV show, if it's popular, you know, it should do better than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the correct answer is A, over 400,000 but less than 500,000.
Damn.
So it's really not the best, and this was so that was the most viewed episode in the first season. Which is the only season that they have so far. And can you guess which episode that was?
Is it episode 1?
It is. The first episode was the most viewed and anticipated. It went from so the chart that I have is in millions.
Uh-huh.
So 0.413 was episode 1, so 413,000.
Uh-huh.
And episode 2, immediate drop off to 181,000.
Oh wow.
And then 245,000, then 145,000, 147,000, 155,000, 152,000, 146,000, 113,000, episode 9. And then lastly, episode 10, 131,000. So they've seen a pretty clear downward trend.
Right.
So you are up to 17 points. I'm at 14.
Correct.
Which would only be one question without the Chicago bonus, but
yes, but it's a question and a half.
Yeah. Wow.
So we each have a session left. So you will have the chance at 10 points next week, and then I will have the chance at 10 points after that. So you need to get at least 2 of the 5 correct to have a chance of winning. And if you get if you get 2 of the 5 correct, I would only need to get 1 right to still win. So you need to have a good week.
Right now, I'm averaging.
It's been 40 possible points for you.
Am I averaging like 4 points per trivia?
I don't think that much.
How many have I done?
You've had 4 sessions.
And I'm at 14 points.
14.
Okay.
So you're just.
I was using your number.
Yeah. You're just
right.
under.
So I'm
you're
averaging
like 3.
3 points. You're averaging just over 4.
Yeah. Still under 50% for both of us in the trivia.
It is pretty close. I bet the last 2 trivias will be a little wild. Because the weight of what's at stake is finally going to weigh on us.
It's finally here. The weight is here.
I was thinking like, we got months, and then boom, we're
boom.
There.
It's here. Yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations on your lead of 3 points.
Thank you.
Any feelings on the ratings? Do you feel like the ratings are deserved?
It makes sense. It's too bad because these guys are great, and I think they had. I don't know how much control they had in producing this, but it seems like they could make something that is truly much more fun to watch on television.
Seemed relatively low budget, other than the car thing.
I don't know. They had a decent budget, the car thing, and then the intro too, where they're dropping a car. Like that costs.
Oh, I guess you're right.
I think the budget is actually pretty good. Just the content leaves some to be desired, at least for a lot of audiences and magicians especially. But
right, I'm sure that they had their own.
When we talk about magician audiences, that should be taken with a grain of salt, because that's not who you are producing a TV show for. Because
oh yeah, for sure,
so few magicians out there. So that's just on a personal level more than anything.
But it just I'm sure that chances are they are probably not producing the exact thing that they probably all have different opinions on what they want to do.
Yeah.
When compared to what the network makes them, the boundaries that the network puts on them. So
yeah. But if that is what they wanted to do, then good for them, and they did it, and it was probably still fun for them. So
yeah, I mean, I'd love to have a TV show where I was just with a bunch of magician friends, just doing dumb shit.
I bet it was a blast to make.
Yeah. Hey, fingers crossed they get a season 2 based on the ratings. Probably not, but
yeah.
But love to see magicians succeed and cross over into bigger things. And it sounds like Chris Ramsey has definitely done that if he was in that movie.
Yeah, for sure.
So Chris, we know that you watch the show, you listen to the podcast.
Send us an email, we'll get you on.
Give us a shout out on YouTube. I mean,
shout us out on the tube.
Yeah, I mean, you could really, I mean, we could turn that 2% in Ireland to maybe like a solid 4.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and again, that's flamingmelonpod@gmail.com if you want to send us a question, or send us your address so we can dox you. It's really up to you what you want to do. We would love to answer whatever questions. Maybe you need some advice. Maybe you need some medical advice. Maybe you need some spiritual advice. Maybe you need some maybe what you need is
a gift.
Maybe you need a gift
from the Watermelon Boys
worth up to $10,000. Maybe you need some relationship advice. Maybe you want to get into magic. Maybe you have some questions for 2 magicians that you want to. Maybe you've always want to ask a magician a question, but you never have because they always vanish.
We're not going to vanish on you. We will answer the question honestly.
We will answer the question on a sleigh. Lucas said that we will find a sleigh. It is a little seasonal, but
we'll get one. We'll sit on it. We'll answer the question
on a sleigh.
Yes.
Yeah. Really, there's nothing but love towards you guys, and we hope that you have nothing but love towards us.
Merry Christmas. That was the Flaming Melon Podcast.
Merry Christmas.